Hello, everyone. This is Bentley from Kent, Washington, and I wanted to kind of do a little New Year's update as well as uh, a little shout out to my friend Barron from Barron Tropicals. He's doing this awesome giveaway called the It's Most Wonderful Time of the Year giveaway. I'll have a link down in the description to that. You should check out Barron's channel. He's kind of a young fish YouTuber in the scheme of viewers, not necessarily age. Um, but he's got some awesome videos. He's got some really cool tanks. He's just a cool dude down in Houston. You should give him a check out. So anyway, you guys probably recognize this is my 150 community rainbow tank, but this is from way back in July. And part of what I wanted to do is kind of just show some evolutions in this tank. So you see there's some glossostigma over in the far right corner. There's this really dense S. repens carpet, one little tiger lotus, bunch of anubias. The kind of spiderwood tree over there is not quite as got just little bits of moss from the physidans, and you can see all the nana petite and stuff in the back there on the rocks. Um, little bits of um, Pogostemon stellatus octopus, a very small amount of Ludwigian repens up front. There in the middle, right in front of that. And then there's the Nubius Golden. My Marble Queen sword, back when it only had maybe a month of growth. And this tank at this point was probably about 6 months old total. Um, and that includes like all its cycle time with no plants and then post plants and finally getting fish. But you can see just kind of these are two different clips from back then. You can see how many rainbows shifted just in the first part, and this little clip that I'm showing here, and you can see the glossostigma is missing. It was basically the rainbows just kept fighting in it and ripping it up. I couldn't keep it there, so I pulled it out. Um, but then we'll look to today, and you can see like the immediate difference happens in the right side of the tank, where there's this massive field of red tiger lotus. I also noticed like as I learn things, I also make mistakes, right? So the S. repens carpet is nowhere near as dense as it used to be. And part of that is that um, in doing some trimmings to give some friends and local club members some S. repens, I trimmed it too aggressively down to what I'm pretty confident is basically terminal nodes. And if you don't know what a terminal node is in any kind of stem-oriented plant, you can trim it to a point of where it will not continually create new upward growth. And you can see I zoom in here and you can see how much like more dense that Nana Petite is and how tall the Bucephalandra has grown, how much denser the moss is on the spiderwood tree there. A couple pots of just random Anudius golden coin. There's the giant runner child off of that massive marble queen sword. Some extra plants that have been added, like there's a Nymphoides Taiwan right there in part of the leaves. Um, and there's some other stuff you can't even really see. I like you just look at this just massive amount of red tiger lotus, which I love and the fish love, because we'll shift down here in a second, and you'll see it creates this nice like shaded under area, and there's a little hattie red pearl sword hiding back in there too. But you can see it creates this like neat kind of overgrown shaded area for the fish to swim in around. And this is kind of what I have called my experimentation corner, where I tried all sorts of plants there, and eventually I just let the red light tiger lotus take it over. But that was 6 months ago to today. This tank has evolved. There used to be wood there. It's been removed entirely. And you could just see like how this tank has evolved and how many more fish are in it, all that kind of stuff. And that's like my big display tank. And I also wanted to show another evolution of their tank that you guys are probably familiar with, the little 29-gallon rehome project. So here's where we started after I did the rescape of that project from my friend Suprio, who had to move and was giving away, wanted to find a good home. I met him just through Reddit, but since then we've been talking quite a bit. He's a really awesome guy. And you can see here's that dwarf chainsword, and you can see the neon tetras. There's some of the Java fern in back. This Cambaba that's here, I eventually ripped out. There's Bacopa in back, and then there's Anubias that got moved. The moss, the Java moss there on the wood, and you can see it like literally tied down when I just put it in there. Uh, little baby Java ferns that come off those Java ferns that were having some trouble that I'm trying to slowly recover. And then this is the Crypt Parva back when we first got this tank. And again, that's back in the summer, looking at like 5, 6 months as well. So let's skip forward to today. I think the difference is obvious, right? The density of the carpeting plants is really obvious. This massive ball of Java moss in the middle there. You can see a little wonder shell. I was adding some extra calcium just because I'm out of some extra crushed coral. But there's a mixture of cardinal and neon tetras in there now. You can see one of the little rainbow boys that is temporarily housed in here from my big group that I have in the 90-gallon tank. There were some runners that got significantly larger. They got moved. You can see this massive, dense Crypt parva carpet. If you've never seen Crypt parva at its full growth stage like this, where it fans its leaves out instead of the small spade shape, this is what a dense Crypt parva Crypt parva carpet can look like. I'm sorry, tripping over my own words. Um, and then you can still see the lovely Harlequin rasboras. We've got a couple German blue rams in here now. Some of the Java fern is actually being hidden by that giant moss ball, but it was a couple long stringier strands, and now it's growing this like lower dense new growth, and it's slowly coming back to life from its roots. It's been a very slow process, as you know. Java fern grows pretty slow, but you can just see there's a couple like pieces of dwarf sage that are significantly taller, and I kind of like that mixed in with the chain sword. It's neat. It gives some variance, but you can just see it. You know, 5, 6 months. Here's what can happen if you're just patient. And yeah, there's little hair algae problems and all that kind of nonsense, but you deal with that. That's part of Aquaria. And I just want to show this is a panda gar that I picked up who's about full size. He's like 3 inches. He's a super, super cool fish. Great blackbeard algae eaters, by the way. Anyway, big shout outs to Barron for his giveaway. I have a link in the description. I hope you guys all had a wonderful holiday season. Fantastic new year. I just wanted to show something interesting for the new year, some growth of a tank and some perspectives of what can happen in a few short months. Thanks for watching. Y'all have a good one.